Hey all, welcome to Monday and Countdown Day, and this is arguably the most controversial countdown of the entire year, every year, because of course this is the fan voted on top 10 worst Transformers that were released this year. It includes any line, votes came in from any line, official, third party, it did not matter. I left it wide open to the voters. Arguably, my personal list of best and worst might also be controversial, but hard to argue with that because that's just based on my own personal experiences, right? This one is based on fan majority vote, and I'm telling you, in the comments, there were a lot of people that were talking, a lot of debate, just like with the best that fans voted on last week. There's some here I agree with, some here I don't agree with. I'm going to give you a warning right now. If you're somebody who gets real bent out of shape because somebody doesn't share the same opinion as you, if you're somebody who's going to get butthurt over this, then you know what? You're best to go now because, like I said, even for me, some of this I agree with, some of it I don't agree with. I'm sure some of it you'll agree with, some of it you won't agree with. Some of it made me scratch my head, and I'm sure some of it will make you scratch yours too. Okay, that's a whole lot out of the way, so how about we jump right into the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all of the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. And this is the top 10 worst Transformers of 2021 as voted on by fans. Like I said, some of these I agree with, some I don't. We're going to get the honorable mentions, or dishonorable mentions, I guess, out of the way first. There are 7 of them. All 7 of these had the exact same number of votes. They include Kingdom Ultra Magnus. People voted for him saying he was just unnecessary. We didn't need him. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't get him because I didn't need him. I've talked about that before. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I don't think he's bad, but I guess when we say, maybe before I go on with the honorable mentions, I should quantify something here first. When we say worst, we kind of mean worst / most disappointing, because some of them that are on here aren't bad. It's just I think people expected a little bit more. Like that Magnus isn't bad, and some people love it. For some people, that's their definitive Magnus. But for others, they said, I didn't like it as much as the Siege. Some people said, I don't like that there's so much parts forming. And so people had like different things. I don't think he was bad as much as he disappointed some people. Kingdom Galvatron. That one shocked me. I love that. I thought it was one of the most fantastic releases this year. But people did say they didn't like the battle damage on him. I removed it, so I don't really count that. But I get it. If people don't like the battle damage, it looked bad on him. And of course, a lot of people pointed out the incorrect assembly on the shoulders. So I guess I get that. What else did we have? Beast Wars Megatron. Some people said that the rubbery skin is bad and peeling. I haven't experienced it with mine, but maybe. Some people said that there were breakage issues with them too. I could see it at around the hips, possibly. Some of that doesn't feel the most comfortable to me. But again, a little bit shocked that Beast Wars Megatron went on there. But when I heard the justifications, I see it a little bit. Core Class Megatron, know nothing about it. Road Rage. Daniel, the Daniel that came with the Dinobot, slug, whatever word you want to use, whatever name you want to use for the guy. That Daniel's pretty trash, I'll admit. And Paleotrex, but more generalistically, a couple of people voted for Fossilizers. I can't count that. That's a gimmick. That is a group, not an individual, you know. Like the question was, what was the worst Transformer released? Not the worst group of Transformers, not the worst gimmick. What was the worst Transformer? I needed a name. I don't understand why people struggle with that. I don't know, but some do. So Fossilizers, I stick in there like reluctantly because they are a group. Honestly, I've enjoyed the fossilizer, so there's an example of one I don't get, but this isn't about me, this is about the fans. None of them, man, made the main list, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Number 10 is a tie with Studio Series 86 Jazz and Kingdom Scorponok. I guess two guys here with the exact same number of votes. I'll start with Jazz first. It's fragile. Feels fragile. There's a lot of clear plastic. That's exactly why people voted for this guy. They said if you break this hinge right here, then the guy really can't transform. The entire top of the vehicle is gone. I guess you could transform it, but you're not going to have any of the top of the vehicle. And a lot of what's on the top of the vehicle solidifies the rest of the vehicle mode. I get it. That's why my Reveal the Shield version ain't gone too far. It's not often that I keep an older version of a character, but I need to see what the longevity of this guy will be like. Then we have Scorponok, and people said a few things here. One, the transformation is fiddly and finicky. By the way, mine has a waist extender and thigh extenders on him, courtesy of our buddy Justin from the 3D Corner. Honestly, I reviewed those along with a whole bunch of accessories in episode 942 of the True Review. People also said that the scorpion legs pop off. They didn't like the hollow tail. They didn't like the overall size. They didn't like that the knees do this. Well, maybe the other knee is tighter. Nope, it's not. I get it when you have clear plastic that you're worried about, that one hinge everything else relies on. When you have hollowness and there's hollow in the back of the legs and like knees that aren't strong, especially since the prices have gone up astronomically in the last couple of years. I get it. I understand it. I don't know if I would necessarily include them on mine or not. We'll see when I do my personal list, but enough fans felt that these guys weren't that great that they took the number 10 slot. Would you believe that number 9 is another tie with Studio Series 86 Kup and Shattered Glass Ratchet? Now, I guess I'll start with Kup. People said that they were not a fan of his face, first and foremost. They didn't like his transformation. They thought it was over-engineered. They didn't like the gimmick where his arms and legs can come off. I don't know how much of it I necessarily agree with and disagree with, but fans feel the way the fans feel, man. Do I think it's an ideal Kup? I think it's a pretty good Kup. I share the aversion to the face. I really, really do. I don't think it captured Kup at all. Then we get to this guy. Now, there were a couple of votes for the regular Ratchet. There were a couple of votes for Ironhide, but the majority of them were for this guy. Some people said they didn't like the tealy color, though I sort of like that because it's like surgical scrubs and, you know, he's in doing some sort of maniacal experiment. I like the purple. It's my favorite color. A lot of people said that they didn't like the fact that the whole top of the vehicle is this piece on his back. I get that. You know, if you don't like parts forming, then that's a real bummer for you. Do I think this is as strong as the Siege mold? Probably not. Do I think it's as bad as everybody else thinks? Not really. But it's not about me, it's about you guys. And enough fans felt that either Kup or Ratchet were bad enough that they deserved to take the number 9 slot. Number 8 is Wheelie. Now this is the Titans Return Wheelie. I have the other one here somewhere. Actually, he has custom legs on him. Again, from our buddy Justin from the 3D Corner. I just don't know where I have him placed now. But, yeah, Wheelie. So I'm going to lay that guy down and I'm going to use Daniel as an example while I talk here. So the Wheelie, his head was able to move, which was great. The shoulders were able to go around, and I think one of them could go out in front of his body. But there was no elbow, so one was straight armed and the other is always bent. The biggest thing with Wheelie, and it's the same thing with this guy, is that they have to be in a seated position. Why couldn't you just give them a knee? Even if you didn't want to articulate the arms, even if you didn't want to give it a transformation, just articulate the knee. Wheelie can't transform. Wheelie has hyper-limited articulation. It was an absolute waste of plastic. And for that reason, Wheelie took the number 8 slot. Coming in at number 7 is a character that I was actually excited for when first announced, but I gotta be honest, I was pretty disappointed when I got it in hand, and so were a lot of fans. It's none other than Blackarachnia. Few reasons here. One, she's absolutely not a deluxe. She is 38 grams of plastic. That's a far cry from 84 grams of plastic. She is, I would say, I won't even say she's a legend. I'd say she's a scout. She's a scout class. She should have been sold as a scout class, not a deluxe. she looks beautiful. The breastplate here has a little tab on it that's known to break. A lot of people have broken that off. There are severe, serious, Ford Deluxe severe and serious articulation limits. No waist. And when you want to kick forward, that's it. That's as far forward as you're getting, unless you want to turn the leg out to the side and get it up. And then, you know, that's not right. Limited articulation, a breakage issue, mass that brings her literally down to another size class. And I would even say paint coloration that's not accurate. There's no purple hair, there should be, and the legs being black, while it's accurate to a spider, it's not accurate to Blackarachnia. A lot of things here could have been improved on, should have been improved on. She had great potential, but she fell just a bit short, and she was pretty disappointing. And a lot of people equate that disappointment with worst. At least enough people that she was able to take the number 7 slot. Number 6 actually also appeared on the best list for 2021. So you want to talk about being divisive. I would say this is the single most divisive, no, not single most, because I think the Unicron was really divisive. By the way, not one vote for him for worst, and I think there was only 1 or 2 or 3 for him for best, and those people that voted for him for best owned him. Second to Unicron, I would say that this character, this release, is the most divisive in the Transformers fandom, and it's 86 Hot Rod. He was on the best list. I don't know, but he was also the same number on the best list. Those who like him, really like him, say he's the Hot Rod I've always been waiting for. I don't get it. And they're like, I even read somebody who said like he came in at a nice snug Voyager class price point, except it's not a Voyager. There is no defense for it. Is it, you know, and like I get why he's worst. You know, is it the hyper thin plastic you can see my finger behind? Is it the fact that the lower leg here, I would argue, is incorrectly colored? Maybe it's the fact if you put the arm out, it can't even go out to the side. Is it the inaccurate elbow, the inaccurate knee, the inaccurate hip, the inaccurate shoulder colors? Is that why he's the best? Everybody complains about clear and translucent plastic. His whole visor is known to break on many copies. I took it out once. I'll never do it again because it's known to break a lot. I get why he's on the worst. I don't understand why he was on the best. Fans have spoken. I would say it's a 50-50 split. Either you love this guy or you hate this guy. I don't think anyone is on the fence in the middle. Yes, enough love him that he was able to take, I believe, was probably the number 6 slot on the best list, but enough also were really disappointed and think he's the worst because, newsflash, he's a deluxe. That's what the math says. He came in at the number 6 slot. Personally, I think he should have been higher, but that's just me, and this isn't about me. This is about the fan votes, and this guy took the number 6 slot. And here we are once again, and a hush falls over the crowd, especially after the very controversial number 6 pick. Where are we? We're at that most coveted of locations, the halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, we have another offering that I would say fans are very split on, because I think this one might have come in on the best list as well. And it's this big boy, the Arc. So much here. So people that put it on the worst said he should have had a 5th thruster. People that put it on the worst said, why does he have these hollow pieces? People that put it on the worst said their shoulder joint broke, much like the hip joint on Trypticon broke. People that put it on the worst said, this isn't the color that we had in the first kind of promotional images. A lot of people who put it on the worst said that they didn't like the battle damage. A lot of people who put it on the worst said it was just plain an unnecessary Titan. I don't know, take your pick. Either you love it or you hate it, much like with Hot Rod. Anyway you cut it, enough fans had enough complaints about this guy that he was able to take the number 5 slot. And here we are now at number 4. Now some people, for number 4, some people had Wave 1 of Kingdom at the end of 2020. For me, I didn't have it until 2021, so I allowed Wave 1 offerings to be counted for 2021 because I couldn't include them in 2020. And perhaps none stood out as a stinker for the entire year as much as Cheetor. Kingdom Cheetor. Now this is actually my customized Netflix version. Again, I get it. He's 61 grams, not big enough really for deluxe. But let's even say he is big enough for a deluxe. I would say that the engineering was too much here for the thinness of the plastic. If they had the plastic just a bit more robust, I think the engineering was great. My first one, because of thin plastic, not because of engineering, because of thin plastic, my first one shattered, crumbled in 3 different places. This one hasn't crumbled, but that tab up on the neck, that broke off right away. The neck here has a little chip out of it. I had to cut off and sand down. Shout out to Masterfar for the suggestion. The peg that his mouth goes over here, there's a lot of paint apps that still had to go on it. Thin plastic, over-engineering for that thin plastic, breakage issue after breakage issue, limited articulation because of the way the arms are done here. Like, I don't know, there's only so much you could do with the shoulders and stuff. There's a lot here to like, there's a lot here to not like. I got him. I think he sure looks the part. I don't like transforming him because I'm afraid something's going to break. It's just not solid enough. For that reason, he takes the number 4 slot. Number 3 was on last year's list. Number 3 is on this year's list because it was re-released, and honestly enough people got behind this being bad that I couldn't ignore it. I could not ignore the votes. It's Kingdom Arcee. Now here's the thing. I don't think she's the worst. I don't think that she's bad per se. I think that a lot of people were just disappointed. Now, some people love her. For a lot of people, this is their Arcee. And I get it. There's things here that I do like better than the generations. The waist, for example. The bigger feet, for example. But people have the same complaints that they did last year. She doesn't even need to transform. Nothing about her transforms. It just unfurls from her back and then you smoosh up the robot underneath. I get it. I don't think it's that she's awful. I think that she's just disappointing. And enough fans felt the same way that she took the number 3 slot. Number 2 was pretty much universally panned, and it's this guy, Kingdom Rhinox. A lot of people just don't like this. They said the green is off. It's not the shade of green that he should be. He doesn't have the maximal symbols on the side of his head like he should have. The whole lower jaw here is a faux jaw. Up here there is no teeth, there is no jaw. The entire lower body is a horrendous feat of engineering with awful transformation, and the plastic used on the feet feels thinner than anywhere else, and the feet are completely hollow. A lot of complaints about this guy. I still prefer the Thrilling 30 myself, although one of the scraplets, that's the other collector here in the house, he kind of claimed that one mine, so I sort of got stuck with this one in my collection. I don't detest it, but I don't necessarily like it either. Oh, and some people said that in Rhino mode, why was this hinge green? You could have made this whole hinge here gray color, and it probably would have worked out better. A lot of people had a lot of complaints, and this guy took the number 2 slot. And here we are at the top of the heap, or maybe the bottom of the bunch in this case. This guy, far and away, obliterated every other character, every other vote, official, third party, anything that came in, this guy obliterated it as garbage. Here's the funny thing, I don't agree with it because mine works fine and I'm real happy with it for the most part. It is this guy, Kingdom Tracks. My Kingdom Tracks works fine, but a lot of people had a plethora of complaints about this guy. First, they said his transformation is atrocious and very, very hard. Especially, and a lot of people said especially the legs. I don't find the legs hard. The legs are just a semicircle. I've showed it a bunch of times. Once you extend the body, this whole side piece kind of folds up around the hip and comes out nicely, really. But again, this isn't about me. People said he's real loosey-goosey. People said all of this whole backpack being translucent is frightening. Absolutely scary. It should not have been translucent. I guess I get that. I do. And honestly, take that off. Honestly, once it's all extended, these little sections right here that kind of tab into like his arms for vehicle mode and stuff, and like tab into like I don't know, like a section back right here on this. Like, it's a tight fit that I don't like, I'll admit. But other than that, mine's great. People don't like the clear plastic. They don't like them for being loosey-goosey. They do not like that the side of the legs doesn't tab in. Now mine does. I mean, I can move my foot and the side of the leg tabs in just fine. Same on this side, move the foot and the side of the leg tabs in just fine. A lot of people don't like these feet. I gotta admit, not a big fan of them just being on these ball joints. There's things here that I'm not a huge fan of. Do I think that the Generations one is better? Yeah, it's more bulky. This one certainly looks the part more. But I understand the complaints people have. It's just I haven't experienced the complaints people have, if that makes sense. Nevertheless, Trax took easily, without any problem at all, the #1 slot for Worst Transformer of 2021. And there you have the fan vote of worst for 2021. I agree with some, I disagree with others. I'm sure you feel the exact same way. I'm sure that there's some that you're like, that's the best thing all year. How can so many people say that it was bad? If you're wondering how many votes we had this time around, because a lot of people do ask that, less than we had for the best, because a lot of people struggled and said, everything I bought this year was good. Things that weren't good, I didn't bother to buy. That's an interesting one. A lot of people said that they just didn't bother to buy any of the stuff that was being touted as being bad. I understand that too. But we still ended up with 602 votes. So it was still a substantial number of votes. All across social media everywhere. Who else got votes? X-Transbots Lock version 1 got some votes. I don't even know this one. Doom Shroom FX Infernus got some votes. Apparently that guy done a lot of people dirty. That was really it for third party, because I would venture to say third party was fairly strong this year. I don't think that they really deserved any of the votes. T-Rex got some votes. Oh, Naval Commander got a vote, which sort of surprised me because a lot of people loved Naval Commander. MP52 Starscream, the thing can barely stand up. It's not great, has no waist. What else here? Roll and Transform, Cyberverse, Bumblebee. A lot of them apparently were broken in box. JP93, apparently there's a lot of clear plastic on that. I wouldn't know, didn't bother to get it. Jackpot because his head didn't match up. Who else? NF Wheeljack, I don't know what NF is. Who else? Fangry from the Worlds Collide pack. And last but not least, T-Rex, because a lot of people said that his paint wasn't accurate. It seemed fine to me. I don't know. But the fans are the fans. The votes are the votes. Now, next week, there will be no fan vote. There will be no fan question, because when I come back here a week from today, next Monday, we're going to take a look at my personal list of best and worst for 2021 based on my experience, based on what I bought. Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know if your favorites ended up on the worst list. Let me know which ones weren't here that you would have added. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer through Teespring. I lost my place there for a moment. Or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you sitting right there, standing right there, kneeling right there, lying back, whatever it is you're doing, you do make a difference. Somehow, some way, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.